I'm going to ask you a few questions here, and I want you to keep track. Are you questioning yourself maybe a little more often? Anyone calling your memory into question, even though you are certain that you are right? Or maybe you feel like you're losing grip on reality. It is more likely, though, that you are being gaslit. It's a manipulative form of communication, and we tend to associate that behavior with our close and intimate relationships, but this could also be happening to you at the office as well. So joining us now is psychologist and executive coach, Dr. Lisa Orbe-Austin. So happy to have you here today, Lisa.
Good morning, Natalie.
So first of all, what is gaslighting for people out there who might be experiencing, and some techniques that someone might use?
Yeah, so when you're being emotionally gaslit, somebody is attempting to, emotionally manipulate you through checking on your perception, sort of saying that their perception is not based on reality and that you may not be, accurately portraying things. And they engage in behaviors like discrediting, not acknowledging your thoughts and feelings, making sure that you feel like what you're experiencing is not really based on reality. No one else would think it was so. So really making you just trust yourself, your perceptions of reality and what's going on.
And a lot of times, like I said, we associate this with some of our more intimate relationships. But is there an example that you can give us of how this might happen to someone at the workplace?
Sure. It commonly happens at the workplace when someone's trying to hold someone else accountable and they're trying to, ask for somebody to be accountable for something that went on or went wrong. And somebody then suggests that that's not how it happened. That's not what anyone remembers, sort of engaging in sort of challenging their perceptions of what actually occurred.
So if we feel like, wait, maybe I'm losing grip on reality, did that happen, didn't? If we feel like that's happening, are there certain phrases that we can look out for, that certain red flags?
Yeah, they're pretty usually really direct, and they say things like, "That's not how it happened. You always do this. You're always wrong. You're crazy." They're really pretty aggressive in the way that they sort of stand, that their particular stance is absolutely correct and yours is absolutely wrong. And so those are typically the phrasing is typically in that direction.
So if you've confirmed, you're like, hey, this is definitely happening to me at work, what is the best way that you should go and talk to or confront that person?
And I think you really want to be careful around the power dynamic, because sometimes people who engage in this behavior have pathological tendencies. And so you really want to be careful and make sure that you're strategic in how you handle it. If it's somebody that's lateral and safer, think about sort of raising this, like, look, I want us to be able to have a communication about what actually occurred here, and kind of dismissing my own perceptions around it is not helpful. Let's find a way to communicate where we can both share our experiences and come to some other conclusion. And so you can sort of challenge it. If it happens in your personal life, you really want to think about maybe it's time for couples therapy or family therapy. It's a pretty serious thing, and you really want to make sure that the other person either gets it, changes the behavior, or you get some help around it. Setting boundaries is incredibly important in these kinds of situations.
Yeah, speaking of setting boundaries, in what cases did you just say, maybe this relationship, maybe this place of work isn't for me, when that continues to happen?
Well, when you were opening the segment, you were saying, like, when you question your reality, when you feel like what you're experiencing is not real, if that's what you're constantly experiencing, it's seriously problematic, and you should consider, whether or not this relationship is healthy for you. These kinds of behaviors do not portend long-term healthy relationships, so it's not something that can stick around. So it's really important that it change.
All right, thanks again for all of your insight, Dr. Lisa. You can follow her on Instagram at Dr. Orbe-Austin, and then we'll see you here next week.
You're welcome.
Thanks.